Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to carry on with tidying up our code into functions. And this one's going to be a little more complicated. And don't worry if you don't fully understand it straight away or even at the end. These things take a lot of repetition. But what we're going to be doing with our functions is making a custom piece of code, passing information into it, and being able to repeat that code over and over again. So I'll just quickly make this and we'll call it create movers. And I'm also going to put a capital at the start. We're going to need the number of enemies or movers that we have in our row. So that's we'll just keep that as num. So the number of enemies we have. We're going to have the speed that the enemies are going. So we'll call that speed. We're going to have the Y position of them. And we're also going to have the sprite image. So we're not going to put a full sprite in there. Partially because I've tested this, and although you would think it would be sprite, that creates a full new sprite when we put it in, and that's not exactly what we want. All we're going to want to do is pass the sprite image in. So put sprite image. So okay. Basically, what we want to do is bring our whole code from our for loop and put it in here. And we're going to change a couple of things along the way, but for now we'll put this in here, and hopefully we just have the exact same code, because all we're doing is we're running this code here instead of in here, and that code is just being called when create movers is executed. So first of all, let's go through the first thing that we parameter that we're pushing in. So all of these red ones are called parameters, and just basically inputs that we're putting into our custom code. Okay, so the number of enemies that are being created is here, the 4 on the for loop. So you can see there's actually 5 here. And it's easier to see if we do this. If we put in 1 here, it actually creates 2 because it's 0 and 1, which is 2 numbers. So when we put our number of enemies we want in here, we're going to have to -1 off it. So we're going to go into maths, and we're going to say our number -1. And now when we put in our create movers, we say okay, and this input here is connected to this input here, and the second input is the second input, and third, and so on. So if we say we want 3 now, it will create 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the speed of our sprites is set here on the velocity. So we're just going to drag this in here. And we'll put in here -50. And we have the same thing. Okay, so that's easy enough. The Y position of our units is here on when we set the position. So we'll drag in the Y position. And we'll put them at 30. So there they are moving across. Now the last thing is my image. So let's say we want 5 different rows. We probably don't want them all having the same image. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy and paste this one by Control C, Control V. And then I'm going to drag this out for a second, just so you can just drag our image out from here. Just click and drag. And oh, that's interesting. Okay, just going to delete this for now, and just to show you what's happening here. Right, and then we're going to. Okay. So in our function, we are creating these enemies or instantiating these enemies. We're creating them with a red sprite. We can give them no sprite or no image, but at the end of the day, there is some sprite being created on the function when it is being made. We now, in this for loop, need to set our enemy's image to be something different. So if I go to sprites, and somewhere in here is set image, set my sprite image to this, and we'll pop that at the bottom, or we can pop it here. Let's just pop it straight after it being created. And we're going to keep it as enemy 1. And we're going to drag my image in. So we don't actually have an image being put in, so it's not going to change. So let's put in our image that we've dragged out earlier and put that into our function. And there we go. We have created our function. Now, let's say we want to make a full new row of these, and we want them at 46, and we want them going at minus 30. That is now created. So you can see how having this custom function here is so much better than the alternative of coming in here and copy and pasting this code here, and then going through and changing all of the settings, and then doing the same. And then we have this really unruly code that's hard to deal with. But instead, we have all of our code neatly in a function here. And if we ever want to change it or add to it, it's there to do so. So I hope this made sense. And if you need any help, you know where I am.